welcome again to another episode of Ndeipi MuDiaspora. Hi, Charmaine.
Hey, Cindy Quay, how are you? How you guys doing?
Doing
good. How are you?
I
am great. So, okay, this is so random, but like recently I got a new therapist, okay? A black female, because I'm black and female. Okay. I've tried before, you know?
Yeah.
But you know in the black community is like a stigma with like mental health and going to see therapists and stuff. So I just wanted to get your thoughts. Like, what do you guys think about it? Do you think it's beneficial? What are your thoughts about it?
First of all, I'm offended that you didn't call me.
Right?
To be a therapist.
Like, you don't need to know my business like that.
That's fine. Healthy distance, that's fine. That's fine. But I mean, I think it's no secret that there's such a stigma with mental health in our communities, especially in the black communities, and especially in the cultures that we come from. I don't know, what are some of your guys' experiences with mental health from Zimbabwe, the Caribbean?
With me, if somebody has, well, now that I know, it's, you know, they have a problem. But back when I was in Zimbabwe, you know, you see somebody with mental health and people just think either they're crazy or they've been bewitched. Like, yeah, that's what I grew up on. I don't know about you, Tina.
Yeah, I think for me, growing up, it wasn't as a popular topic of discussion, and it kind of had this cloud of, oh, you're crazy. But mental health issue has nothing to do with being crazy or falling into those stereotypes. And I think that we should stray away from that. I think it's just as important as addiction, counseling, and any other mental health issue. So I think it's important. I think we should learn to embrace it with open arms.
Yeah.
And another thing for me is that like sometimes I tell people like, yeah, I think I want to go to therapy because I was afraid, and they're like, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? And I'm like, absolutely nothing is wrong with me. That's the thing. Like, I swear I'm normal. I'm great. You're like, okay, I'm a little weird, but you know what I mean? I just like, it's just like, I live a high stress life. Corporate America is stressful.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Tell me
Gotta deal with the pressures of society and then my family. I was just like, I need someone to talk to that is not my family, that's not gonna judge me. That's why I know we're friends, but I'm like, I want you to know my business like that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I just feel like it's just a good way for me to talk to someone judgment free and you know, with no like alternative motives or anything like that. That's why I think it's like helpful.
I think that's very important. Therapy can just be a healthy outlet to kind of vent, to kind of get things out. But I think in our communities, we don't understand that mental illnesses are actual medical conditions. It's not like just emotional reactions to things. It's actual medical conditions that affect the way you feel, the way you think, the way you act. So I think a lot of times we're told to kind of pray things away. And that's not a bad thing, because I think prayer and your faith community can help in the recovery process, but it shouldn't be the only option. Like, you should actually seek mental health professionals that can assist you. And I think a lot of times people feel like as mental health professionals, we just want to push medication. No,
That's true.
that's an option, yes, but talk therapy can be very beneficial. So, I mean, I'm a therapist. I don't look scary. You can come and talk to me. I mean, we're just regular people who can help you get through some of your problems, but I think people have just this, you know, you have to be crazy to go talk to a therapist, but no.
Yeah, and when it comes to medication, I'm a nurse. I work with doctors who've prescribed a lot of things. There's nothing wrong with taking your medicine.
That's right.
And you can keep that personal to yourself. Not everybody has to know what you're taking and why you're taking it. But I think, you know, like you say, you know, therapists are there, you know, to help. I think there's also some issues like with the, like, especially middle school kids. I think there's a lot of help that's needed in that, and especially in our community here in the diaspora. It affects us every day, you know, like if your friend's daughter has a friend who's got some issues going on, you know, your daughter will come and talk to you about it, but that doesn't mean that tell your daughter, oh, don't play with them or don't talk to them, you know. Let your daughter understand, like, you know, this is an issue, and love your friend, support your friend, you know. That way maybe there'll be less suicidal rates for teenage kids.
That is so very important. People understanding that mental health issues are medical conditions will help break that stigma, because like you're saying, a lot of people who are suicidal, they literally feel like they have no other options, nowhere to turn. Because if they talk to someone, you're going to be judged and go crazy. So rather than talk to someone, I'm just going to keep it all in. Then it gets to a point where I can't handle it.
Right. And like, have you ever had to deal with anyone that had mental issues that was close to you, and how was that? I don't want to make you cry. I don't know.
We did. Actually,
know,
we did,
yes.
and at that point we didn't understand it.
Yes.
My mother's sister, she turned alcoholic.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think there were issues like with her and her husband, and you know. But at that point, I think it was just too late. She passed away, you know. But that's the one time I remember actually it being, you know, in our family, which is really sad because my aunt passed away at such a young age. You know, I can probably
but you're right. We didn't understand it, and we didn't understand the need to turn to negative coping strategies like alcohol and whatnot. It's not only that much later where people are like, I wish we could have done more. And we have other family members who've been affected by mental health issues, and it's always that thing of, I wish we could have done more. But, you know, education, I think, can help break some of that portion of just reaching out and helping someone and understanding that it is a medical illness.
Yeah, I agree. I think even for me, when I had my child, my first child, I suffered, I think, from postpartum depression. Unfortunately, I didn't go see anyone, but I knew something was wrong. I wasn't myself, I wasn't realigning myself, I wasn't bouncing back like I thought I would. So it's something that I was like, you know what, I should have seen someone, and I think to this day I kind of regret that. But it's something where you don't know, is the insurance going to cover it? You know, can you be away from your child? Would you feel like you're not enough and things like that? So I did battle with that, those thoughts, you know, or if I should go see someone or if I shouldn't. But I think I should have, you know, like I said, embrace, and like you said, the education about it, and, you know, educating myself about the insurance and everything like that would have done me some good.
Yeah. And, you know, just even moving to a country like America, coming from Zimbabwe or whatever, you can imagine the kind of stresses that people face. Moving from different countries, you have to immerse yourself in a totally new culture, environment, adjust to a new way of being educated and working and dealing with us coming from a country where we're majority black. My blackness wasn't as prevalent as it was now here. And there's so many issues that come with that as being a black person in America.
And like, so I'm from Canada, right? So Canada's white, but we have black people too. Hey, what up, Montreal? Little birdie, shout out to my hood, right? But at the same time, people think America and Canada are the same, but we're different. We have like free healthcare. Right. It's expensive out here. I'm just saying, that's another topic. But you know what I mean? So it's like, and then my parents are from Guyana, so we're Caribbean. Most black people in Canada, for the most part, are first, second generation Caribbean or African. So all of my black friends growing up were African Caribbean. So I just think of black people as like, you know, we're all black. In America, coming here and knowing that there's a difference, they're like, oh, you know, this guy told me once, I swear to God, he was like, he's like, where are you from? Like Canada. But we're talking more and more. I'm like, my parents are from Guyana. I knew you weren't black.
Okay.
Mind you, this is a light-skinned boy with curly hair. I said, I ain't black? You ain't black. Like, and he was like, no, I mean, you're not like regular black. You like different black. Like, what? So Americans have this like African American versus African versus Caribbean versus, I don't get it. We are mud diaspora, okay? We all black. So, yeah. That's right. It's a lot.
So we're going to be right back shortly. Hang tight. We have an amazing guest with us today. He's from Zimbabwe, but we'll tell you more about him when he comes back. He is a therapist, so this is going to get even more into detail. So please hang tight. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome back, everyone. So our next guest is a licensed professional counselor, and he's the founder and visionary behind Inside Fitness here in Dallas, Texas. Ladies, please help me welcome Rukudzo Sithole.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
No, the pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Yeah. So earlier in the show, we talked about the importance of mental health and how there's so much stigma in terms of mental health illnesses in our communities, especially where we come from, African and Caribbean communities, and just in Black communities here in America. But here you are, a Zimbabwean man who owns his own practice here in Frisco, Texas. So tell us, what was the inspiration behind opening up Inside Fitness?
Well, you know, actually, I could be honest, this is not a profession that actually you choose. It actually chooses you. That's one thing. So I could actually start by saying family history. Okay. You know, my family, there's mental illness in my family, and it was always something that was a passion for me, like a latent passion. I did my stint in corporate America for about 20 years, but it wasn't really fitting. So I decided to explore, and I found myself right in mental health. Okay. So it was I think it was the desire to give people what I realized that my family needed and wasn't really available. So I said, hey, why won't we create a place where people can come and experience, you know, just love and walk through these difficult life issues and just have that extra helping hand as they deal with different mental health issues. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very important work that you're doing. Yeah. That's amazing.
You mentioned family. I had a question about, you know, living here in the diaspora, sometimes we are unable to go back and bury our loved ones. I wanted to know, what do you think the side effects of that over time? Like, what do you think as far as mental health and as far as our emotional health as well? Like, what do you think about?
Now, that is one of the most important things, and I think that's one of the devastating things, because I've experienced it. Yeah. I've buried a lot of family here, and if you were to travel every time, you know, yearly, you would be going to bury somebody. Now, the thing with that is grief is one of the most powerful emotions we will ever get to experience and ever have to process. There is something that comes with some closure, that comes with walking with someone from the hospital bed to the gravesite and to be in the moment and to experience the emotional processing of every stage as you bury them. Right. Now, the thing with not being able to go through that grieving process, that aspect of grief, you don't get the closure. It's like a story that you heard, you know, I mean, that, oh, somebody died. Right. You are not able to walk there. Now, usually, people end up dealing with silent and latent depression, just a dissatisfaction with life. And a lot of times we end up self-medicating, and I'm going to call out the diaspora. Sometimes we end up drinking too much and partying too much. All these are ways and things that we're trying to use to cope and to make life become a little bit better, because we're dealing with latent, unprocessed emotions and pain. Yeah.
That's right.
You know, when you say that, actually 2 years ago, my mother-in-law passed away. And she had lived with us for like 4 years. And, you know, and my husband, we're going to Zimbabwe in December. So he's also, and she's from Zambia. So he's now going to see where his mom was buried. But I feel like he's okay, but you can just tell that there's something that he earns for. You know, he's got a great job, you know, great life, but there's something at the back that he yearns for. And I think to see his mom's grave, I guess will give him that closure.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And you're absolutely right, because seeing my dad's grave was the biggest thing that I wanted to do, because it just moved me to a place where I had no idea that I was still grieving, even though it had been 5 years. So that is something I can understand. I can relate to that totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another micro question now. So I grew up in Zimbabwe, and I remember seeing like people would be walking on the street, maybe half naked, or people would be walking on the street and they're in really like dirty clothes. And every time the people would say anopenga, which means like, oh, they're crazy, or they would say, oh, they're akaroiwa, like they've been witched. And now, you know, coming here, I've realized, oh, there's something more deeper going on here. Can we kind of help us understand that.
Yes, and I mean, because I grew up in Zimbabwe too, because culture was actually a big impediment towards like mental health treatment.
That's right.
Because as I mentioned, my family, I had a lot of guys extremely educated, but then something would happen one day because mental illness either starts at 18, which is what we call early onset, or late onset around 28. So somebody was okay until they hit 28. And then they say, oh, something happened, this guy was bewitched. You know, but the truth is, this guy wasn't bewitched, it's mental illness. This guy was sick all the time. So then we start going into a cultural understanding to say, how can we treat this mental illness? You're gonna go to all different witch doctors, cultural doctors. Sometimes there's another extreme now, extreme religion, where we're praying and you've been anointed with olive oil to a point where we can fry Kentucky Fried Chicken. And saying God is going to be with us. Sometimes the reality is that it's just mental illness. And sometimes it's just that we're not in a place where we understood that people can be depressed. There's bipolar disorders, there's schizophrenia, there's all these different issues. And even here in the United States, you will tie, because you tied homelessness to mental illness. Majority of the people that are walking out there and in the streets that are homeless, it's actually tied to mental illness. And if they take their medication, they'll be okay. But then we get into the stigma where people don't want to take the medication.
That's right.
And so as a result, people would rather live outside and be in the open and not take medication and just get worse and worse. All right.
Ooh, okay, so
it's heavy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So like I said, so I started doing therapy, and I'm like a competitive person, like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, when am I gonna be finished? Is there like a graduation? Can I graduate top of my therapy class? I'm like, I want to be graduated with distinction.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So is it like an ongoing process, or are you ever just done?
All right, the way I look at it because I'll be honest and say I go for therapy too, you know what I mean? And I'll first say that therapy is a journey. You know, you go there for different things in different stages of your life. You need help with different things. Now, yes, as a practicing therapist, you know, I would like to keep people there when they're benefiting something.
Right.
So if you're experiencing a stage and you need something, let's say grief, they say that takes about 18 to 24 months. Usually when we walk somebody through a year, we know that, okay, they're getting better. So whenever somebody is able to cope with the presenting issue that brought them to therapy, they're good. And then you can come back when something else comes up, because so long as we're alive, we're gonna go through life and issues, you know. Because I go see my therapist every now and then when something comes up, and I have to go and talk to her about that. So, sorry, competitive one. It's a journey, but when you feel you've figured out this stage, yes, take a break and come back.
Perfect, sounds good.
Exactly.
You know what I like? Here you are, black man, Zimbabwean man, confessing that you go for therapy.
That is powerful.
You don't understand how many guys need to hear that. Black, white, brown, I don't care what color. Just hearing that, that is amazing. And I hope that somebody is learning something from this.
Yes.
My brother.
No, but that's very true. And it does actually lead me to the thought of, what are your thoughts in terms of how can we help our communities in terms of like breaking down stigma? I mean, I'm a therapist, so I feel like, but like for others who are, you know, like allies in terms of the fight of mental health and whatnot, what things can we do? What are your suggestions in terms of helping break down some of that stigma and educating people and letting people know it's okay to not be okay and seek help?
Okay, that is a good thing, and that's actually the work of my life, you know. And if you were to come, you know, as I was walking through this place, it looks more like, you know, I mean, the design of our office. We're trying to bring mental illness into the 21st century. Therapy has been given such of a stigma that you're crazy, there's something wrong with you, or what to expect, you're gonna be condemned and shamed about whatever you're going through. So we decided to repackage therapy on what it looks like, you know, hence the name Inside Fitness, you know, fit from the inside out. And we have a contemporary office. We have a different approach to therapy, just to love and walk with people through life. That's what we do. And now people just getting educated and knowing that therapy is just for you to learn about yourself and understand how you can manage life better. Because a lot of us, and why I was so happy to come on this show, because I spend a lot of my time, you know, dealing with here in Dallas, Fort Worth, and sometimes California and all that at large. But in our community, we still have not come to that place where we need to accept therapy as part of our life. And we're dealing with a lot of things, emotional distress, which comes out as depression, anxiety, doubt, insecurity, fear, all these things. You can come and see a therapist and walk through them and just give you the tools that you need to manage daily life, because man, life is becoming stressful. Ooh, it is. And we can say amen to that again. And a whole lot. Because if we look at, we got more demands on our life than ever before. Right. And it's just increasing and very stressful. So we need somebody to walk with us through life. And I'll say this though, therapy has to be a match. You have to find the right therapist.
That's very true.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because my first experience with therapy was not a match. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, nah, we're not going to be doing this. But eventually I found somebody who was a match, and I feel like I'm going home just to talk to a friend. So that's important.
Yes, that's true. Because I had a therapist once, and it was like a middle-aged white man, and I felt like I had to explain the black experience to him, the female experience to him, and then tell him what it was. And it was just taking so long. And I was just like, I can't.
That's true. I mean, even the position that I work in, there aren't very many black female counselors where I work. And a lot of times when students come in, they request a black female counselor. And I just understand the importance of representation in our field.
Yes.
So that's a very good point. There definitely has to be a match, because a lot of times students do feel like they can't express certain things that they go through as black women to another therapist.
And now that I have a black female therapist, like I don't have to explain. I'm like, you get it? She's like, got it. I get it. Okay,
that's right.
That's amazing. The match is really important.
Yes. So Rukudzo, how can people find out more about you, more about Insight Fitness? Where can they contact you if they'd like to maybe come in and find a therapist, possibly?
Actually, there's various ways to contact, but the main, you can go to our website, www.insightfitness.us, or you can call us 972-704-1372. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, and the handle is @InsightFitness360. And you should be able to find us.
Great. Well, it was an absolute pleasure having you here. This is such an important topic, an ongoing topic. So we hope that we can collaborate more with you in the future to kind of do more of this.
Sure, definitely. Thank you for having me, and I'll be available if you guys need me anytime for any future endeavors. You know. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to this segment of Ndeipi MuDiaspora. Today we have on our show Ginger, and she's with the Cupcake Experience. Her cupcakes are alcohol infused, my favorite. Welcome, Ginger.
Thank you.
So Ginger, I mean, this is amazing. Like when the manager brought this to us, I was like, cupcake who? Let's put her on.
I'm like, do we get to try this?
Yes. So what inspired these cupcakes?
Somebody just asked me to make them one day. And I said, okay, I'll try it. And I posted a picture, and then people just started ordering.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So it's that easy.
So what would you say is like your favorite liquor to use in these infused cupcakes?
Tequila.
Oh.
Yeah. You can taste the tequila.
Okay. Tequila is the devil. I don't do
I got some chills when you said tequila. Tequila thing.
I mean, it's gonna be all right. A little bit.
Okay. That's fine. Now, which of the cupcakes that you make is your personal favorite?
Tequila lime.
Oh, okay.
So this one is what?
That's tequila sunrise.
Okay.
Sunrise. Okay.
And then?
And then that's lemon. That has no alcohol.
Okay.
And then that's it's called Yellow Rose wine. So
Okay.
it's a candy apple flavor.
Okay, so we're not going to be consuming the middle one.
the virgin. We don't want a virgin cupcake, right?
Yeah, have it real.
So you seem like you're very creative. I see that your cupcakes look beautiful. I know you're also a hairdresser as well.
Yes.
So it seems like you probably did really well with the arts in school growing up.
I did not.
You did? I was like,
You know what? I wanted to be a singer.
okay.
When I was younger.
Okay.
So I was real consumed with that.
Okay.
Like, I don't need school, just let me sing my songs. And then I saw the 5 Heartbeats.
Oh.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to get hung out a window for the singing career. So I let it go. It wasn't that serious.
Were you still singing in the shower or something?
I sing in the shower.
That's her stage.
I do karaoke, that's about it.
Oh, are you one of those people? Are you ever going to karaoke? I cannot sing, okay? My voice is deep and okay.
You're a comedian.
Yeah, that's I go on stage with a mic, but I am not singing. I'm telling jokes. But I hate when I go to karaoke and I'm like, I'm going to sing my song. And then someone before me is like,
I know, right? You're like,
I ain't singing, right? I know, it's cool. I don't want to be here.
That's me. Yeah. I let everybody else go first.
Okay, good.
and then you grace them.
Yes.
I don't put you on the spot where you just like a 1-2 note. I can't put cupcakes. Okay,
We also recently found out that you traveled to California. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I just moved out here a little bit over a year ago.
Okay.
And so I was
California,
from
right?
California.
Okay.
And I was a hairstylist for 20 years.
Oh,
So I still go there and do my hair clientele.
okay.
Yeah.
How often?
Every 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
How long do you stay?
3 days.
I just want people to understand.
She's legit.
And how many hours a day?
I work probably about 12 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I make it worthwhile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Girl, make your money.
That's awesome.
So do you make cupcakes for like weddings and birthdays and corporate functions? Like,
I do a lot of corporate
Okay.
and birthdays. Not into wedding cakes.
Okay.
Too much stress.
so are you on Instagram, Facebook?
Yes, how can people get in contact
All
with
of
you?
it. Yes. the
So how can
Cupcake
people
Experience.
contact you if they'd like to order some cupcakes?
TheCupcakeExperience.com
Okay.
or Instagram, The Cupcake Experience, the number 1.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Great. Well, are we able to,
Say no more.
to dive in a little?
You can. I want you to try them.
I guess this one's closer to me. And remember, like tequila and me are not friends. I wish tequila.
But you know what?
This is candy, right? Candy.
Yeah,
This
I
is
actually
candy.
really want to try that one because it's,
Because
yes.
you want to copy me.
I'll say the lemon is probably the best seller.
Okay.
Can I have
If you're a lemon fan, then you like the lemon.
Can you put some alcohol in the lemon? Like, can you, if that makes someone ask?
I do like a lemon drop.
Oh, thank you. I do like lemon
Vodka.
drop. Okay.
Yeah, I do that one. But the tequila sunrise is not a whole lot of tequila.
Okay.
There's orange juice in there, grenadine,
So-
you know.
What kind of
How do I eat
My oval's already gone.
Okay, but is it whipped? Is it whipped?
Oh, buttercream.
Buttercream. Buttercream is the best, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. So do I squeeze the alcohol in it?
Yeah.
You can squeeze it, you could drink it. I mean,
I'll
it's in
squeeze
the
it.
frosting already, so.
Mine didn't have it.
Oh, look at it.
Mine didn't have any, so maybe it's already in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yours didn't have.
Mine drip down.
You want the one? You want another? You want another one of those?
I like.
You want another one of those?
No, I'm good.
No,
No, but this is really good.
Oh my God.
So
I want more alcohol. No, it was good. It was
The
good.
dietary, if someone has like dietary restrictions, like gluten and things, gluten need to be gluten free. Can you make those cupcakes like that?
Okay,
or
so
is
this
it-
is what I tell people. Okay. Because I used to make candy.
Okay.
Okay.
Girl, is there anything
And
that you can't make? Hello.
And so people would ask, do you have a sugar-free candy? If you can't eat sugar, don't eat it.
True. You know what, girl? You're right.
If you need vegan or gluten-free, don't eat it. It's all sugar. It's for fun. It's not a healthy treat.
It's not that bad. It's not that big a deal.
What kind of candy did you used to make?
Praline.
Oh yeah, I love me a good praline. I'm from New Orleans, and you know that's something that's staple in our culture. So yeah, I love a good praline.
Okay. Yes. Well, I really like you, but I might need to stay away from you.
Because all this is good.
If you're on a keto diet, this is not.
Say, don't live with me. You eat it every day.
It's like take all my money. Let me get my hair done. Let me get some cupcakes and
Just
How are you so slim, girl? What is your secret?
I eat cupcakes every day.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I do need to eat.
But you know what? I don't eat a whole lot though. Okay. And I don't really eat meat. Because it makes me feel heavy.
But you know, us coming from Africa, right? Meat is like
life.
Yeah, it's like life, you know. But I'm gonna try next
I eat a lot of fish.
year after next.
No, I haven't tried. I swear, it's been like 3 weeks, or like 4 weeks almost.
You haven't eaten meat?
I had chicken ones by accident. Okay,
there's no accident.
Okay, you're right. Okay, you're right. I had gone home for like, you remember my mother's cousin had passed away, and I was like, there's all this Guyanese food, and there was like curry chicken and oxtail and goat, and I was like, okay, I gotta eat today. But then other than that, 3 weeks, no meat. So I've been doing this.
That's good.
Well, Ginger, this is amazing.
It is.
Thank you.
So holiday cakes. Do you do holiday cupcakes?
I do.
Okay, because the
do.
holidays are coming up, and okay.
Yep. I do decorative toppers too. So like for Christmas, I'll do them to look like ornaments.
Oh,
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. But can you tell people like how to really get a hold of you? Like you can speak to them.
So thecupcakeexperience.com or Facebook and Instagram at the Cupcake Experience 1.
Perfect. You'll be hearing from a lot of moms. Thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going to eat my cupcake. Lipstick, but I am going to eat my cupcake. We'll be right back. Hang tight, guys.
Welcome back. So ladies, we've talked about some really deep topics, right? And we ate our feelings. I'm just kidding. But I wanted to ask you guys, so in the society we live in today, we're exposed to a lot of traumatic things. If you just turn on the news, there's a shooting, there's a bombing, there's a stabbing, all sorts of injustices. You know, it really starts to take a toll on us. And I wonder if you guys are feeling it like I'm feeling it.
I do feel it because, especially with the school shootings, I do drop off my daughter at school in the morning and I say, bye, see you later, you know? And it does hit at the back of my mind, like, what if? What, you know? And it's not a good thought, but it does like hit. I mean, I think about it, you know what I mean? Because it's happening to everybody, not just, you know, certain people. And then another thing I was thinking, like I was talking to you the other day, I was like, with all of this, and I'm sorry, with all this money that they have sometimes going around, why can't they invest in bulletproof vests that are kept in classrooms so that if something does happen, I know they lock the door, but you know, our vital organs are from the neck to the pelvis, you know, and if those are hit, you're in trouble. You know, it's not as if your leg is hit, you know, it's okay, but like if your spleen or your liver is hit, I mean, that's major. It's all major, of course, when you get shot, but those are a little bit more, you know. So I was thinking, like, why won't they invest in bulletproof vests to keep in the classrooms, that when something does happen, the alarms go off, the teachers can quickly get the kids to put on their bulletproof vests, even though they're hiding. You know, why can't they? That's always a question of mine. Why can you not invest in that?
So I guess to play devil's advocate, I'm like, I feel like gun control might be a little bit more easy to regulate in that sense. But you know, I understand the amendment. I'm from Canada. Everyone I know that has guns in Canada is a criminal or a cop. Cops are robbers, like the show. But like here, it's just like this the culture, so it's different. But I don't know. I guess that would be good, but it's such a scary thing.
It is very scary, but at least you can save lives.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me, we recently went back home for a visit. And I remember my daughter just playing outside. And I was so like, helicopter mom. Because I was like, no, I have to see her. She has to be in my, reach, within eye. And, one of the Sunday school teachers was like, it's okay. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? Like, why am I so like a helicopter mom about my daughter, But it's one of those things where I think, like you said, you can become a little bit more heightened to the bad parts of maybe gun violence and mass shootings or human trafficking or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I think it is, like you said, heightened sensitivity to it.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, when I go to the movies, I actually think to myself, like when I sit in the theater, I'm like, okay, if something was to happen, where do I go?
Right.
How do I hide? And I feel that in the malls too, sometimes like around the holidays when it's like super packed. And I actually, the other day, well, it was last holiday season, I felt myself like, I had like symptoms of anxiety. I was like, my heart was racing for no reason. I kind of felt hot. And I had to stop and ask myself like, why am I feeling like this? And I was like, oh, I'm in the mall. It's crowded. It's the holidays, shootings. That's when I was like, dang, I didn't realize it affected me that much, but it really does. Even just driving. If someone drives crazy next to me, I just like let them go because you can just get shot.
Yo, I have bad road rage too, and my mother is always like, Charmaine, you live in Texas. They have guns. I'm like, you right, let him cut me off, okay? Because I'm that person. I'm like, oh, who you think? Like they can hear me, but you can see this, so you don't hear what I'm saying, but you know that. Like,
yeah. You know what that means.
You know what it means. You know what I mean? Like, sign language, okay? But like I said, I'm like, you're right, they're in Texas. I don't want to get a gun because I got a high temper, and I'll have a death penalty. Like I can't do it. Like I ain't about to go to jail forever. But at the same time, you know what happens to me? What happens to me? Like I got stopped by the police because I was speeding. And I got stopped by the police, and there's all the police officers shooting like unarmed black men, especially, but black women. And that was my first time getting stopped by the police. I don't know what to do. I like pull off, I pull over. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Should I record myself? I need evidence. I need someone to. So I called my friend, 'cause I just left her house. I'm like, Tiffany, I just left your house, and the police stopped me. I'm like, tell my mom I love her if anything happens. She's like, Charmaine, calm down. And I was so. Like, I'm like remembering it. I was crying, I was shaking. I was like, he's like, license registration. I'm like, it's in my cell phone. Can I pull out my cell phone? I got, my insurance. Can I pull it out? And he was like, yeah. And then I came back and I couldn't find it. I was like frazzled. And he came back and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, don't shoot me. I swear to God. And I started crying. And I know I made him feel uncomfortable because he was just like, ma'am, I'm so scared, I'm so sorry, I'm just not, I watch the news, I don't know what to do, and I just don't want anything to happen to me, because like my mom, and he was just like, calm down, ma'am, it's not that serious, and he made sure I was calm. And I was so scared. My friend was on the phone with me. Luckily, I didn't get a ticket. But at the same time, I never been that scared in my life.
Yeah,
like, it was serious.
I can only imagine.
So mental health, it's real. It's not something to joke around with. Because everything that we've touched, when the news comes out, the person has some mental health issues, or they were not taking their medicine, so mental health is a big thing. And I think raising awareness and just knowing, what to do, because they're not going to take guns away just like that. Right. It's going to be a process. But what can we do, in the meantime?
Yes. Right. So how do you guys get through some of those moments of like panic? What kind of brings you back down?
Prayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is key. Yeah, I think prayer for me, definitely. Also, just trying to remember the good in people. That when people are called to do good things, that people do rise to that bar.
to give or to, you know, rally around people and rally around the community. So I think relying on people's goodness, you know, just in the world overall, you know.
Yeah, I think I have to remind myself over and over that just because it happened to someone else doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna happen to me. Like, I have to tell myself that, otherwise I will freak out wherever I go. Like, I did not really realize how bad it was until recently, when this most recent shooting happened in California. And I thought about all the times that I used to go out as a college kid and party and never gave it one thought that that would be it. So it's like, when I watched that, I found myself getting super emotional, and I was like, why? But the truth is, all of the incidents that happen, I feel like sometimes we become desensitized. Sometimes I watch and I see and I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy, that's bad. Turn off the TV, go about my day. But this time it hit me, and it's like all the other things came forward. And I was like, when I think about it, it's a lot that we literally experience secondhand, you know? So it's so important to like check in when you have those moments and you wonder, what's going on with me? Check in with yourself, kind of see if you're okay, call a friend, talk to someone, pray, find some positive ways to cope, and sometimes even detaching from media.
That's true.
You don't have to.
Social media.
You can just turn off your phone for a day or deactivate your accounts for a day, turn off the TV for a day, but make sure you're okay, because honestly, we see it and we don't think it affects us, but it really does.
And when you talk about the phone, you have the power to turn that button off.
Yes,
so
you
have the
power
power
to turn off the power.
Exactly. Turn off the power.
Power to the power, I don't know.
But that's very true. That is very true. And I appreciate having you guys, because we can talk about things like this.
And we all go through different things in our lives. So we're not even perfect sitting here talking on screen. We've got our own stuff that we go through that we actually discuss, and we feel better when we talk about stuff. Yeah.
And like, obviously, I always make jokes. Like, I'm like, oh, this is too serious. And then I go home and cry. No, but I deal with
comedians do have issues too.
No, yeah, you don't understand. When I say that the stage is my therapy, I am a serious. I can be so depressed, so down. But when I'm performing, like, you don't even know. Like, sometimes I'm like, you're so funny. It's like, I'm depressed inside. But for this 20 minutes I'm on stage, y'all don't know this, and I forget about it. You know what I mean? I get to like, forget about my problems.
That's like Kevin Hart's Laugh at My Pain, because he was like, I really went through some rough times, but he makes a joke of it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you personally are feeling, you know, unsettled by any of the things that we've discussed, or if you know someone who's struggling with mental health issues, we are going to post some resources on the screen. So be sure to take a look, access all of those. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out. Like I said, I am a therapist. And you're always welcome to contact me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, if you ever want help finding a therapist, or if you ever want just to talk.
So today, as you can see, we're looking beautiful.
Yes.
Marvelous. 100%. So our hair today was provided by Beverly James of House of Beverly James.
Thank you, Bev.
She's based here in Dallas, Texas. She was up at 6:30 this morning, okay? Sisterly love. This is when you know somebody loves you, okay? When they get up at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning, okay? So House of Beverly James, you know, follow her Instagram. She's ready to make women just look amazing.
Yes, when you have a House of Beverly James wig on, that confidence is off the chain.
Exactly, and confidence is something that we support on this show.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. So thank you.
Well, you can also see that our faces are beat to the gods.
Yes.
So we'd like to thank Boxy_C. You can find her on Instagram, who beat these faces to death. Can you see? You look lovely, ladies. Make sure you follow her, her on Instagram.
All right, and our wine was provided today. It's God Snatched at Rejected Not on Instagram, or you can follow the owner at 10_die_speaks.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for this in-depth discussion. We went from some serious topics to, you know, something more light, but I think, like you said, we just want to make sure that everyone is healthy, both physically and mentally.
Yes.
And thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you.